for the Ethereum Colombia community, and we want it to be like presential. So yeah, we invited Mitch to come here to Barranquilla and talk to us about the TEC and give it. And yeah, so yeah, we are polishing the details, but until now that's a great news. And yeah, we hope to have this in the frame of Road to DevCon activities. And I'll pass to Livy.
Temperature check. Yeah, I think things are going great. It was really cool to see the Graviton training yesterday, like people getting engaged and listening to what everyone is learning about, and just so many new perspectives. And yeah, I think we're closer and closer to the upgrade, and that feels great. I think not so much in particular. I'll pass to Eduardo.
I'm eating a sandwich, so I will pass it on to Nate.
I'm currently drinking some coffee. Are we doing intentions distractions, or what was the question? Sorry.
You know how we start the stewards call? We just talk about how you're feeling, what you're seeing in the community, a little temperature check.
Yep. Everything's good so far. Yeah. I don't have much to add in terms of the temperature check, so I will pass it on to Zepti.
Man, my Discord is so slow these days. Are we just doing heat check? Feels good. Yeah, I think I feel like things are going pretty well. Like the params is so close, you know, and the param parties are going to be so much fun. So I'm just kind of getting amped up for all of those. But yeah, I think things are going well. Like the first few param parties were just so much fun, you know. And so I can't wait to keep that going. And I'll pass it to Livia. Did you go? Okay, Tam, you want to take it?
Yeah, Mitch.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a extended business vacay trip in Colombia. That'll be pretty cool. I'm wearing the perfect shirt for it today. Got my Colombia shirt. So yeah, but in the TEC, I feel great because I'm just like knocking things out that I wanted to get done in params, reward system, buy-in, like everything is just moving. So I feel great. And I will pass it. Ooh, we get everybody, I think. Eduardo, you finish your sandwich. Take it.
I did finish my sandwich. I want to know what fruit is Griff eating though. So yes, so basically I'm really happy. There is this very simple action that Mage does every morning, which is to say good morning in a general channel to everyone. And this is such a simple action, but no one else does it. No one else have this like, you know, this thing that if you see someone on the street, you will say it. You will say good morning. Why don't we do it on Discord? I don't know. It's just, it makes me happy to see it every week. At the beginning, I thought he was crazy. Now I understand it. So keep doing it. I'm happy about that. I'm happy I closed issues in the Send Hub. So that warms my heart. And yeah, back to you, Tam.
So God, I just feel like things are on fire. There's so much happening, and I think I'm asking lots of people for help, and lots of people are helping, and I think that's pretty amazing. Actually, that's been really nice to see. from the working groups, we're really almost done with our funding. We'll do an update in a minute. Communitas, the orientation call, there was 4 people when we started, and new people, not the stewards, and then like 2 or 3 joined towards the end. So it's people that are like, I just launched 3 different DAOs and I'm here for token economics, and it's more and more advanced people. Somebody joined us from DAO House as well. It seems like from the DAO House DAO. So it just seems like there's a lot. There's just, our reputation is out and more people are coming, and Communitas is like gearing up for this really well. I just feel like there's a lot of things going on at the same time, and it's a full moon, so I always feel a little maybe like what's going on? Like I just wanted to hide under my bed today. I didn't want to come out. So that's my feeling right now, to be honest with you, and that's not often. Okay, so we got everyone. I'll move on to so stewards stuff. Okay, so I put some numbers in the fundings that we have so far. They're kind of ballparky, right? So these numbers can probably change a lot. This is like super rough estimate. We're still don't have labs or Omega, but those are in progress. And we're looking at something like, if these were the final working group funding proposals, it would be something like 139 for 3 months is what that number looks like. Some of the proposals are actually going to be for 6 months. And I just sliced the number in half. So just to give everyone a ballpark. And as we keep tracking. I think we should set a target for when we want the final working group proposals, like a more refined version, because we know we need to work on it week by week, but I think without a deadline for the final proposal. I mean, I guess the deadline is the Commons upgrade, but yeah, okay, we have a deadline. The other thing I want to talk about in this group is I'm going to nominate some steward offboardings right now. So we don't have an official process, but it's going to be something like what we have all shared together in the Stewards Council. There will be a nomination for offboarding. Actually, we do have a process for offboarding, and we'll just add this having a kind of ceremony to celebrate the stewards that have contributed and are no longer going to be stewards. And the list is here. So I've identified everyone who's either a working group lead or very active. And then the people like Craig, who had been able to contribute so much for so long, but has started working on other things, is still around once in a while, but I don't think that we could say he's in the know anymore as much as before. So I would nominate Craig for offboarding. Jess as well, I would nominate for offboarding. She was very active early on and hasn't been as active the last few months, so quite a long time. Suga self-offboarded, but I think that when we're talking about funding stewards and having a stipend associated with being the stewards, we really have to go through the process of offboarding. We didn't really do it with SEM, and maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to include SEM in this more formal ceremony that we want to have. And then Marco is the last person who I'd say had come into the TC, is still around, but isn't a person that someone could go to on our Discord, see the role steward and ask him a question. So I kind of feel like this is the 4 people who I nominate for offboarding. So we'll just leave it for a week, basically, for anyone to raise any objection. You can raise an objection now, or you can raise an objection on the Stewards channel. But at the beginning of, next week after this Stewards call, it'll be official, and I'll formally start the process to offboard these stewards. Okay. And then Mitch, do you want to, so everyone knows this amazing piece of work of getting a bunch of really complex ideas together and putting them together and putting a proposal on the forum was done. I can't even stress enough how hard this was, but how easy Mitch made it look. But the proposal is on the forum. I'm expecting us to have plenty of feedback from people, actually, and I hope that that's going to help us make it stronger and stronger. The details are the allocation, which would be 15% of the hatch funds-ish, or I should say 250K wrapped X time. Actually, Mitch, do you want to present it?
Yeah, sure. So, do you want me to share my screen with the proposal? Will that be easier? Okay, let's pull it up then. And so we've got this thing here, and show y'all the screen. How's that look? Great. Loading.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we worked on this with me, Tam, Zep, Griff, Lauren, Wonka through in a sweet graph. So basically, in this form proposal, we're outlining how much we want to buy or take out from the hatch funds and purchase TEC on our bonding curve when it launches. And so that amount came out to 250K. Griff, Lauren, and I sat down for several hours, ran the numbers. Like, this is just like a little fraction of the stuff that we did in that afternoon. But this number here, 250K, seemed to be the best choice. Like, it was just really balanced and like gave us a good range for various different prices, opening price, commons tribute, reserve balances. So that seems like the best option, and it seemed like kind of like middle of the road. There was a lot of people in favor of 200K and then 300K, so it's nice being able to meet in the middle like that. 3 eligible allocations, which was based on an older forum post that I think Nate started, or Tam. But basically we identified 3 different allocations, so that was reward system, strategic partnerships, and secondary market liquidity. We threw out some numbers. I'm expecting these numbers to change from the advice process, honestly, but 80K to the reward system, so 32% of the buy-in amount. Strategic partnerships would be 68K, 27%, and finally secondary market liquidity would be 102K, so 41%. We try and give some concrete examples of like what these things would actually take form as. And again, like, this is all probably going to be debated, and we'll get something closer to custody. We identified it as laser tag, which would be the acronym for the token holding body. And they will be a Gnosis multisig that will be 4 to 7. The only requirement on the multisig being that you are a steward. And that's kind of the gist of it. There's like some more nitty gritty in there, but you know, go ahead, read it. Yeah, that's it.
So, initial thoughts, feelings, anything that you want to share. I'm going to pass it around because this is actually super important. It's a significant amount of funds that we're going to be asking for. So I think that the more united the stewards are in the ideas of what the value is, I think the more support we can actually garner for it. I think it needs to be clear in our minds before anyone else's. So I'm going to pass it around and maybe set a timer for a minute or 2 minutes just to let people know what their timing is. I'll pass it to you, Griff, to get us started, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I don't necessarily know if we want to be as prescriptive as saying this percentage goes to the strategic partners and this percentage goes to liquidity mining. I think it depends on how good of strategic partners we get and whether or not it's worth it. Also, I think we're going to run this by the community, like our actions, and maybe the community will say, yeah, we want those strategic partners more than these liquidity mining, or we want this liquidity mining more than these strategic partners. So I feel like just saying like I feel like it's nice to have an estimate, but not be so prescriptive about it. But other than that, I think it sounds great. I think 80K, the TEC, feels like a good amount for the reward system and like a good estimate of what that gives more than enough space because it will end up being worth way more than that. And so that's a good chunk of change to start off the reward system. And yeah, I guess I feel like I helped inspire a lot of this stuff, so I feel very aligned. I'll pass it to Eduardo.
Thank you. I didn't dive into this until this proposal was done because I'm clueless about most of this stuff. But I actually found extremely useful this document, and I highly appreciate the way you write it, Mitch. Because if this document that will be also provided to members of the community in general, this is quite useful and explanatory. And I'm quite curious to see. Because for me, this is, I think, the first time that people in the community will decide what we do with our money, our economy in a bigger way that is tangible. Because the other ways were a little bit more abstract, and so people will just understand only abstractly. So I'm really curious to see how we push the conversation on talking about this and how the community will feel about this and educate why the decision was made. So I'm really curious about it. That's my 2 cents on it. And I will pass it on to Nate.
Yeah, I think it's really amazing. I think that I need to get a better understanding of the secondary liquidity markets in terms of like how we're going to approach that and who's making those types of decisions. And there's just a lot of choices there, so I assume that we'll get that into the weeds later on. But yeah, overall it looks really great, and I think that 250 sounds like a good amount that won't affect the health of the bonding curve long term. So I think you guys did an amazing job with this, and just want to praise you for that. So yeah, I'll pass it to Livy.
Who did you pass
I think to you.
to me? Okay. Yeah, I think I'm learning a lot with this proposal, and I think it was a great example of like the collective intelligence acting on drafting something that was very abstract and complex, and a lot of people were debating, and I think the debates were held in a way where information was really being like taken in and digested and put it out in the best form. So I think like it was really cool to see the development of this proposal until this point, and especially the things we were talking about yesterday on the governance of this smaller committee that will be like managing these funds, and yeah, just how we are listening to many points and finding a sweet spot. It feels like we thought of enough problems and things that could go wrong. So yeah, I think it's really like feels like a mature spot now that can continue to evolve for sure. And that's to Chewy.
Hey, Chewy.
Oh, sorry, it got out in the end. I wasn't sure if it was me. I read this the post. It looks like it has like a lot of work put into it. I don't feel I'm yet prepared to give like an opinion that would contribute, but I'll keep studying this and make sure to include some thoughts in the forum. But yeah, congratulations to everyone that was involved, and I'll pass it to Septi.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I'm happy that at the end we made a vote for the multi-site. It seems that it's better than pictures. we didn't talk about the requirements, like like how many people need to vote, or like some kind of parameters. Like I don't think we will use the right parameters like forever. So maybe maybe some decisions we will take later. So maybe half of the community wants something. Maybe we should do it. But yeah, I feel like we should work on the parameters to make the decision. But overall, it's super cool. I don't know who's missing. Juan?
Yeah, I think that initial idea of buying being our first buyers was great, and like this is more grounded, and it has like more detail of what would be the usage of the funds. So yeah, I think this is a great idea. I support it. And I'll pass to Greg. Greg?
Thanks, Juan. I haven't read it yet, but it's in the top of my pile of sticky notes somewhere. I'm looking forward to it, and just first glance and listening to everybody's initial comments, I'm even more excited to get to it. So yeah, I'll do that today, and maybe engage on the forum. Thanks. I think I'm last. Tam.
I guess, Mitch, is there anything you want to say to conclude?
Just listening to everyone's feedback. I think Griff has a really good point of like, we don't actually know how much money we're going to spend in this second pool of strategic partnerships and secondary market liquidity. So, but I mean, we threw out some numbers, and there's like a bit of rationale because, the strategic partnerships aren't very well thought of right now. And the secondary liquidity will probably need a higher amount in order to be actually effective for trading. And like they seem a little bit more fleshed out right now. But I agree, like we can't put a hard number to some of these right now.
Cool. Yeah, I'd say the same. I liked the idea of it being a collective pool, and then figuring out what the right allocations are based on the what's live at the moment. And then I'd say, Zep, you bring up a good point. What are the voting requirements? And is it, I would have guessed it would be something similar to what we're using now, but it's not a bad idea to revisit those assumptions. And then the last thing, I felt like the section, it's my own fault because it's the section I added, but I feel like in the event the terms are not executable, maybe we can have a little bit more clarity around that. And in the event the proposal would cause serious material loss to the holdings, maybe we could have a little more clarity around that. But I was started thinking for like, oh, what can go wrong? What plenty can go wrong? And try to put some verbiage around like, if something goes wrong, this is how we handle those cases. Cool, excellent. Then let's move along. So the call announcement, that bot that we've been using, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's been like issues piling up in ZenHub around changing the Omega and legal to biweekly, or adding this image, or updating this time. And it's a tool that Vi has built himself. And in order to accommodate those, like allowing people to make changes to it, or to change it to a bi-weekly, a lot more development would need to go into it. Rather than spending that time and effort on developing a custom solution, Vi found this bot called sesh.fyi. You probably have seen it on Dallas and a number of other DAOs. It's quite simple. All it would be is about a bot, and it will create an event. You include an image, you can even change the image, you could change the time. So every steward will be able to change the call banner image, change the times, change the frequency themselves. So we have done some testing already, and it's looking quite good. So we will be implementing it, slowly taking down those call announcements and replacing it with these. To start with, we'll just use the regular image that we have, and maybe by the next stewards, or can pass some information in the stewards channel about how to update your working group image. Just want to give everyone a heads up on that before we do it. And then new working group, gravity working group. So Juan Carlos wanted to present the gravity cases and tracking, that is transparency initiative for gravity, and his funding proposal. So I'll pass to you, Juan Carlos.
Thanks, Tam. I'll share my screen. This came after a call with Libby, because there were several requests to like make gravity more transparent and also to have like better coordination. And the idea was to create a Zenhub board. So this is the gravity board, and here we have like a flow of how cases go through the process, and we are calling them like tickets. And first we take the first input from the type form, or maybe the way that the case was referred to, and here we create the issue and we assign one or two gravitons for the case. And then they move here to open cases. Right now you can see like there are no open cases in gravity in this moment, and there are 4 cases in observation. They all are named gravity ticket. I don't know if there would be like another better way to differentiate one from another, but this is like the first interaction. And here are the cases in observation. Most of these cases are cases from other communities, like Giveth, OneHive, or SourceGrid, where additional to the first conversation we had with them, we proposed and we invited them to join to the Graviton trainings and make some activities in their community regarding the cultural understanding of conflict. So that's why these cases are in observation, because we are like having the follow-up of the Graviton training and maybe what will happen after the Graviton training with these Gravitons in these communities. And here are the closed issues. Right now in Gravity we have handled 15 issues, and we have been around a little bit more than a year, or a year. So I think that it's been like 1 or 1.3 cases per month, but we are preparing to manage 2 cases per month with the funding proposal that we're going to show. And the idea is that here you can have like a brief description of the case, but without any sensitive information, like organization, TC, the date that it started, the input mechanism. Here there's a mistake. It should say like type form. It says who were the Graviton in charge. Here it was just me. And like the transformational action considered, helping to visualize work done, and like notes, advice process, organizational guiding to meet needs, and additional actions. Some of these cases, they don't have actually a mediation process, so they don't have evidence. But when there are like a mediation case, there's a link with the evidence, and obviously the link is private, so only like the parts who were involved in the case can see what is the evidence or the agreement that you promoted within the mediation. So yeah, this is like the idea. And here is another column of organizational development where it's not like proper to case, but like proper to the things of the development of gravitation organizations. So like make a new type form independent from the common stack one. That's something that we have to do, but we will do it in their moment. So yeah, I wanted to present this. I think it's a good way to keep track of the actions that we promote, like the transformative actions, and to have like a visible registry of the cases and more or less what were the actions that were proposed on that situation. What do you think about this?
Thanks, Juan Carlos. I love that transparency part. I guess the one question I would ask is there a way, I mean, is there another method that you're using to pull statistics out?
No. Like, okay, the type form had like 30 entries, but like some of them were tests, and also there are some times that one case have like two entries in the type form. So I just like I get the information from the type form and I build the tickets. But yeah, there's not like much engineering other than that.
Actually, I just mean, you know, if you want to look back and be like, how many cases were handled by this graviton in, you know, this 4-month period? Is there an easy way to like, you know, pull that out?
No, we
Or are you
like
storing it somewhere else?
no. Actually, yeah. In most of these cases, I was assigned alone, but there are also other cases where I assigned like an example TAM or maybe yeah, here like in Giveth, the gravitons in charge were me and Tamara. So yeah, that's the only thing, but there's not like a way.
I don't mean to, yeah, I mean in just in terms of like, it's something that later can be used to share more transparency about the working group overall. How many gravitons were involved? You know, in the last 6 months, how many gravitons were involved in cases? There's, you know, it doesn't need to have names, just statistics, you know?
Yeah.
One thing that I'd like to say here is I see there are like two templates for the gravity ticket. If you go to GitHub, one is this one, and another one is a GitHub form. So if we're going to be using a form, we can probably parse that information out and have this go to a spreadsheet or something.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah, this is like the starting. I am sure that we can continue improving from this, but I think yeah, it's great to have this at this moment.
Yeah, this is really great. And I think an easy solution could be just assigning issues to different gravitons. And then you know that the gravitons that are assigned to this issue are the ones that are participating in the process. Maybe this could be an exception of putting more than one person to a ticket.
Okay. Yeah. We will continue improving from this, and I am going to be thinking on what DB and Tam suggested to have like even more coordination between gravitons. And I also wanted to show the gravity funding draft that Tam and I worked on this on the Monday, and yeah, it's like the funding proposal, and the assumptions is that the goal of gravity is to be self-funding in a timeline to be described. The part of the funding of this proposal is to support Gravity as a service DAO, and the proposal is also for Gravity to support for the 6 months following the commons upgrade. So basically, the services and roles, we are talking about a Gravity SafeNet that is 6 months of funding for 6K, one Graviton training per 6 months, and we want to reward the facilitators with 200 DAI per session. And we also want to have a pool for Graviton case management, which we want to pay Graviton's 200 DAI per case managed. And also 2 Gravitons in each case. And with 3 working group roles. So the numbers, and also another pool for making some bounties and small bounties, like leading a book club, or a session of a book club, or promoting safe spaces within certain environments. So the for 3 months it would be almost 20 K, and for 6 months it would be 42 K. But it's divided between the service, that is 1,000 DAI. The Graviton training is only charged per 6 months. The 3 working group roles, and the bounties that we are also asking. So yeah, this is the funding proposal for Gravity. But yeah, it still needs also a lot of polishing, and when we share all of our different proposals, it can be upgraded. But I think it's more or less it's quite accurate.
Okay, thanks for sharing, Juan Carlos. If there's anyone who does want to make a comment before we move to the next topic, now's your chance. Cool. Spotlight for tomorrow. This is
Yes, we will finally have Andre from Deep Work. So he'll finally get to present for that. It's been kind of a back and forth, and he's missed out on a couple of weeks. So it'd be nice to have him talk about it finally. So
here's a question: what's our target? How much time should we aim to leave him? Is it 5 minutes?
You know, I would always stress for 15, but I know that it's it's 5 now, so that's fine too. I think when we take a hiatus, I think we're going to see exactly how it works with just the praise and the working groups going into it. But keeping that in mind is just make sure that we're all aware of timing, not to rush anything, but just keep your eye out when we do the community call.
Okay. Cool. And sharing the working group news, we need a champion. We need a champion for this. So really, it's a reimagining the medium as a channel, actually, and maybe writing a few posts. Oh, I forgot our retrospective action. Our retrospective action kind of falls into this, right? Retro, which is convert 3 forum posts to medium articles. So that's our stopgap measure until we have a chance to reimagine Medium as a channel and sort of have a champion to take it on. But as a stopgap measure, I think it's actually a pretty great measure. I don't know that there's anything else to say on this, other than if you have an idea for the forums. I haven't looked through the forums yet and selected any that I thought were eligible or would make good candidates, but I know there's tons in there. If anyone has ideas, please throw them in the Stewards channel. Retrospective is tomorrow, and the sprint planning is Friday. And then now we'll go around and get some updates from working groups. So maybe we can start with comms. Are you up, Chewy, for giving an update from comms team?
Isn't tomorrow the council? Sorry, I just want to clarify that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tomorrow is the council. Thanks. And did I even talk about this yet? No, I totally skipped this. Tomorrow is the council. Angela is going to be joining us, and she'd like to for us to discuss ways that we can bring the Token Engineering Commons community and Token Engineering Commons together. I don't know if you guys already have some thoughts and ideas, but it'll be nice for us to have that space together. And then the public service announcement is, have you checked your GitHub notifications? Because if you haven't, it's really good time to do it now. Would be a great time to check your GitHub notifications and see if there's anyone who's tagged you and needs to hear something from you before they can finish their work. All right, cool. Chiri, are you feeling okay to get started giving some updates from communications?
I just added some notes to yesterday's updates in the comms working group. Would those be okay?
Sure.
Okay, let me share my screen really quick. Okay, so some of the updates that that I presented in yesterday's working group call were these specifications that I added, which is what are going to be like some of the stewardship duties, so that it is more so that it is clearer about the role as a guide rather than like an authority or someone to like assign contributors. Like the idea would be to as soon as any contributor approaches us, for them to be part of how we take decisions and how we delegate different bounties to different contributors. So I started drafting this as an advance of that, and also but I changed this link, which is the Miro board where we had the issue tab. So let me get in it, but going to the one where I placed it. All board TC. Which one was this time? I think it was the.
It should be like the TE retrospective and everything is what it's called now, I think.
Okay. It's is it in your?
If you dropped it there, then yeah. Yeah, cool.
Okay, here it is. Yeah. So in, I also started like to draft some of these ideas because I think that it is clearer if we establish that like the reward system could be like a first incentive, let's say, to participate, but it's something that stays with community contributors. So in a way, this first step is definitely something from orientation. Like it's the same process that they have been following. Like this process does not interfere with how it's with how first approaches are done. And then observation is like something mutual. Like it depends on people starting to approach the communications working group and start like interacting with some of us, and so that they can get a better idea of what we do. This is something complementary by the comms working group and also Communitas. And then once they get into the reward system, focused in something that that starts like being part of communications contributions. So they start getting new so some of our governance tokens, so that they can start like involving themselves in bounties and eventually project management. So this is and also and I wanted to ask for some opinions on this. I wanted to keep contrary to what I presented before, I wanted to keep like a standard 19 die per hour rate because originally we proposed like a first, let's say, like layer of basic duties in the working group, but it's like it raised some issues about it being like not fair. So contrary to that, like these basic roles are gonna have like a cap of hours per week, let's say, and I just feel that it's a better idea so that people can have access to this to a more fair rate. And those were some of the advances. Sorry,
Thanks.
Sam, go ahead.
No, I think that in the Communitas, it's also the same based on that rate as well in the Communitas proposal so far. Just in the interest of time, so other working groups can also share. Is there other things to share? Sort of like high level things that you want to share from comms? Chewy.
Sorry. There was a bit of an accident here, and I was distracted. But no, not at the moment.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that. Eduardo is should we do Communitas?
Sure. So minor things were closed today. I updated the welcome to the TEC forum section. I closed the issue too. I will probably I was going to request this to Mitch or to Nate if possible. Take a look at the section that says TEC hatch and common subgrade. That used to be the article how to become a hatcher. I tweaked it a little bit to point where we are at the moment, but the technical part of the common subgrade, I cannot relate if it needs to be updated or not. So if any of you can take a look at it, that will be helpful. Besides that, we are on finishing the onboarding journey kind of process of content creation. We created a fake server to test it out, the onboarding journey. Baby has been rocking with the bot. So tomorrow we'll have a session with MS, contributor for Communitas working group, an amazing person. So he will lead the conversation on how to coordinate the content creation for the final steps of the onboarding journey. I don't know what I'm missing out, Tam, if I'm missing out something.
Well, I think it's really worth specifying that we're not completing the onboarding journey.
Oh,
What we are doing is like the initial part. So when people land on Discord, the onboarding journey is really much longer than that, but we're just doing that first part. So like people are going to land, how our people are welcomed into the TEC is the part that we're sort of finishing right now.
Correct. Besides that, the scanning and I'm using the GitHub issues as a reference for this conversation. So scanning for members and reaching out to them, I've been doing every 2 days and so on. That keeps going. It keeps happening. That doesn't change much. Copy of the terms and condition code of conduct. I presented it yesterday on SoftGov, so it's up there for review. And I think that's pretty much all. On the TEC Lounge, yes, we are still hosting the TEC Lounge. We have increased people joining. Before it was only 2 or 3 people. Now it's 5, 6 people, 7 people. So that's cool. And then we will have a TEC Lounge on Forefront DAO on the 27th of October. We'll be joined by Chuy, Juanca, and depending on time availability, I will join or someone else. So yeah, that's on that end. That's pretty much all. Oh, by the way, yes, one last thing. I tried to check the permits to allow someone to check orientation data. For some reason, I couldn't find the permits to allow Shui to check it. It seems that he should be able to check it out, but for some reason, I think he's not able to.
You have to be an orientation coordinator.
Only them, not even the steward can see it?
That's correct. And we could change that though.
Yeah,
But
because
right now, that's how it's set up.
yeah, that's it. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, we can change that. Yeah, maybe it does make sense for all stewards to see that.
Yeah, because so far, since the information of people who is joining are dropping there, for example, there has been some people that came referred by Griff, and probably he wants to, I don't know, welcome them by himself. He's not aware that these people join, so I don't know. It could be interesting that are there for stewards.
Vote? Yeah, just quick stewards vote. Is there anyone that would object from allowing all stewards to also see the onboarding data? Essentially what it is when somebody joins, they receive a survey that asks them a few questions. And right now that data just goes into a channel called orientation data. There will be a different, like either a Notion or an Airtable or a spreadsheet. There'll be something else that it goes into later. I don't see any reason that all stewards shouldn't be able to see it. But if I'm missing something, can somebody please let me know? Otherwise, we'll add the steward's role to that to see that channel as well. Okay, great. You guys will start seeing the orientation data channel soon. Cool. That covers everything, right, Eduardo?
Yeah, the rest is stuffed off with the proposal. So yeah.
Okay. I'd love to do params actually. Griff, if you can give everyone an update on params, or Mitch, or whichever one of you want to do it.
Yeah, we are on pace to do param parties on Friday. That's the deadline. So I'll have a param party on Friday. It'll be the first one, and I'll announce that tomorrow at the call, in the Thursday call. That's the big thing. It won't be like the application is feature complete. We prioritize some issues. There'll still be improvements throughout the first week, but the issues should work. So like starting on Friday, any parameters that you propose will be able to be voted on.
That's serious.
So I'm having flashbacks to the Hatch vote proposals, and I wanted to ask because I remember there was one thing that we ran into where we started the proposal parties, and we submitted proposals, and some people voted on them, and then they may have wanted to change their mind and couldn't, or are we having voting open the entire time, or are we going to wait?
We are slaves to the tools. Voting will be open the entire time, but I would recommend not voting too many votes, making too many votes until much later in the process.
Okay, so we just need to incorporate that into the messaging and make sure that people don't make that mistake.
Yep, for sure. And it'll be harder to close issues than it was before because it's a bot that's making the issues. You aren't making the issue. So, yeah, you want to be really, really careful with your votes. We probably just won't talk about, we probably just won't talk about token log that much, right? Like, and tell people to vote on it. That shouldn't be necessary.
We can also sort of do a service announcement that's like, you can't take back your votes. So just hold off the vote
for sure. Yeah.
So there's a bunch more in. Cool, that's exciting. Anything else from params?
No, I mean that's the show, right? Like, is there anything else? Is there anything else in params? All I know is that I've been using the tool for Bright ID. I showed them the tool and used it to analyze what they chose for their garden, and also Mitch and Lauren and I have been using it. So it's very useful just for regular actual design and understanding. So it's really nice. It's ready. It's ready for prime time.
Cool. Just to clear something up, I just checked the orientation data channel, and it does. The stewards should be able to see it. So you should be able to see it, but we could do that async. Okay. Any updates from Common Swarm?
Nothing major. We're still targeting November 5th to be able to be done. This week is Bonding Curve. Next week is Garden, and I think we're on pace, assuming nothing comes up.
Yeah, did I read that there's a new vote that we need to do?
Yes, we do have to. There's still one permission missing to execute that final vote. So this brought up a really nice feature that we're going to implement into EVM CRISPR, which is that it will tell you if the vote will pass before you submit it. So then, yeah, if it will actually be able to execute, and that'll just help people create votes that work. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
Congrats.
So do we need?
Welcome to the bleeding edge. No.
So we're going to want to vote on that when the vote gets launched. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I actually don't know what on that. I can ask him. Or Septimus, do you know?
No, I don't know.
Should we just make another forum post, kind of like the last one, and just say, "Oops, oops times 2. We need one more permission."
I should listen and let me know.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we have to make a vote, we for sure need another forum post, I think. I mean, we have to have.
Yeah, I can do it.
And it can certainly be framed as we're making EVM CRISPR stronger.
Yeah.
Building better tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it just shows you the complexity of Aragon. It's what's great about Aragon is repeatable templates. Once you have everything tied together correctly, you can repeat. But tying everything together correctly is not very simple.
Thanks for taking that on, Zep. Let me know if you need a hand. Well, we're at the top of the hour, or we're a minute before the top of the hour. So I don't think we'll get to other working groups. Thank you, everyone.